All right, so today we're we're going deep into
That would
some
I.
fascinating ideas about the afterlife,
Okay.
specifically about preparing for it.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at volume 4
Okay.
of Ibn al-Qayyim's Zadul Ma'ad,
Mm-hmm.
which translates to
Yeah.
Provisions for the Hereafter.
Yeah.
And this 14th century Islamic scholar,
Right.
Ibn al-Qayyim,
Mm.
he has some really thought-provoking perspectives on what we need for this ultimate journey.
It's interesting how he approaches it.
Yeah.
He doesn't just focus on practicalities like
Yeah.
maybe some others might, but he goes much deeper, exploring the emotional and the spiritual preparation
I love them.
needed to make this transition.
I love that. It's not just about what we bring along,
Mm-hmm.
but who we are when we arrive.
Right.
And Ibn al-Qayyim uses such a powerful image to illustrate this point.
Yes.
He compares our journey to the afterlife,
Right?
to a traveler packing for a long and arduous journey.
Yes. He actually says the intelligent person is the one who prepares for his journey to the hereafter before setting out on it.
Wow.
It's such a simple idea, but so profound when you think about it.
It really gets you thinking, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
What kind of packing are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Not just material things,
Right.
but what we carry in our hearts and minds.
Mm.
It's making me reflect on my own inner luggage, so to speak.
That's exactly what he wants us to do. He's prompting us to examine not just our outward actions, but our inner motivations and intentions.
So how does this journey metaphor
Yeah.
shape our understanding of the afterlife?
It suggests that the afterlife isn't some passive state, but an active journey. Just as a traveler needs maps and supplies and a plan,
Right.
we need to prepare for the afterlife with the right spiritual and emotional tools.
I see.
And those preparations, according to Ibn al-Qayyim, they begin in this life.
So it's not just about reaching the destination.
Yes.
It's about how we travel and who we become along the way. And Ibn al-Qayyim doesn't leave us wondering what we should be packing.
No.
He gives us a detailed packing list, so to speak,
Right.
outlining 4 key provisions.
He breaks it down into knowledge and belief,
Okay.
actions, spiritual purification,
That's
and
great.
companionship.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Let's start with knowledge and belief.
Sure.
What kind of knowledge does Ibn al-Qayyim emphasize?
For him, it's not just any knowledge.
Right.
It's about having a correct understanding of God and his attributes and the nature of the afterlife.
Okay.
He believes that this understanding, it forms the foundation for everything else.
Oh, wow.
He even states that the most beneficial provision is that which will benefit you on your journey, and the most beneficial of all is knowledge.
So it's about building a strong foundation of faith.
It's more than that.
Okay.
He goes deeper.
Yeah.
It's about seeking a deep and nuanced understanding of the divine one that informs our actions and shapes our character.
That makes me think about the types of knowledge that we prioritize in today's world. Are we just seeking information, or are we seeking wisdom, the kind that nourishes the soul?
That's a crucial question.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the sheer volume of information available to us today.
Right.
But Ibn al-Qayyim would urge us to be discerning, to seek knowledge that brings us closer to God and helps us understand our purpose in this life and the next.
So it's not just about accumulating facts.
Right.
It's about acquiring knowledge that guides us on our journey.
Exactly.
What are the next item on the list? Actions.
Well, for Ibn al-Qayyim, it's not enough to just have the right beliefs.
Yeah.
We have to act on them. Good deeds and righteous actions are essential provisions for the journey.
So faith without action is like a body without a soul.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
He emphasizes that our actions are a manifestation of our inner state. They are the outward expression of our beliefs and intentions.
But it's not just about any action, right? It has to be done with the right intention.
Exactly. Ibn al-Qayyim uses this interesting analogy of a rusty sword. He says that performing actions for show without sincerity is like polishing a rusty sword.
Right.
It might look shiny, but it won't be effective in battle.
Right.
He uses dinars and dirhams terms for gold and silver coins used in his time to represent material wealth.
Okay.
He critiques those who hoard this wealth for the afterlife while neglecting their spiritual growth in the present. It might appear like a provision,
Right.
but without sincerity, it holds no real value.
It's like packing spoiled food for a journey. It might look like sustenance, but it won't nourish you in the long run.
Precisely. He's highlighting the importance of aligning our actions with our intentions. Are we acting out of genuine faith and a desire to please God? Or are we simply seeking the approval of others?
That's a powerful reminder, especially in today's world where it's so easy to get caught up in appearances.
And he doesn't stop there.
Right.
Ibn al-Qayyim introduces another essential provision, spiritual purification.
What does that entail? Is it like cleaning out our emotional closets?
In a way, yes.
Okay.
He's talking about the continuous process of repentance, seeking forgiveness, and purifying our hearts from negative qualities like greed, envy, and arrogance.
Yeah.
He sees these negative traits as baggage that weighs us down on our journey.
It's like we need to travel light, shedding the things that hinder our progress.
Exactly. He believes that spiritual purification brings us closer to God and allows our good deeds to be truly meaningful.
So knowledge informs our actions, and our actions are a reflection of our inner state. It's all interconnected.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the final provision he highlights, companionship.
People we surround ourselves with. What role do they play in this journey?
Ibn al-Qayyim believes that the company we keep has a profound impact on our spiritual state.
Okay.
He stresses the importance of surrounding ourselves with righteous individuals who inspire us to be better versions of ourselves.
So choosing our companions wisely is like choosing the right travel buddies for this journey.
He compares it to a caravan traveling through a desert. Having good companions provides support, encouragement, and guidance, helping us stay on the right path.
That makes me think about our relationships in today's world. Yeah. Are we using our connections both online and offline to lift each other up and inspire positive change? Are we seeking out companions who challenge us to grow and evolve?
Those are excellent questions to ponder.
Yeah.
Ibn al-Qayyim would urge us to be mindful of the company we keep, recognizing that our companions can either nourish our journey or hinder our progress.
So these 4 provisions, knowledge, action, spiritual purification, and companionship, are all intertwined.
Yes. They work together to prepare us for the ultimate journey.
Okay.
And neglecting one can have a ripple effect on the others.
Right.
But it's not just about checking boxes.
Yeah.
Ibn al-Qayyim emphasizes that the quality of our provisions matters just as much as the quantity.
That makes sense. It's not enough to just go through the motions.
Right.
It's about engaging with each provision wholeheartedly, with sincerity and intention.
Right. And this brings us to another fascinating aspect of Ibn al-Qayyim's teachings, his emphasis on going beyond material wealth when preparing for the afterlife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's fascinating how Ibn al-Qayyim critiques those who just focus on getting wealth for the afterlife.
Right.
He argues that true provisions, they're not measured in material possessions, but in like the richness of our character and the depth of our connection with the divine.
It's like he's saying a mansion in the afterlife won't mean much if you haven't cultivated a spirit of generosity and compassion in this life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He even says some people gather provisions for the hereafter, but they are provisions of this world. Dinars and dirhams, food and clothing, wives and children. But where is the knowledge, the action, and the purification of the heart?
Wow. That's a pretty poignant critique.
Yeah.
It makes you really think about what truly matters.
Right.
What we should be investing in for this eternal journey.
It resonates so strongly with, like, our times, doesn't it?
It does.
We so often equate success with material wealth, status symbols, outward achievements.
Yeah.
But Ibn al-Qayyim's reminding us that true wealth lies in the development of our inner world.
So how do we bridge this gap? How do we balance the need to fulfill our worldly obligations with the pursuit of spiritual growth?
Ibn al-Qayyim offers this beautiful concept, balance.
Okay.
He doesn't advocate for, like, rejecting worldly matters,
Right.
but rather approaching them with the right intention.
Okay.
He emphasizes that neglecting our worldly duties, that can be just as detrimental as neglecting our spiritual obligations.
So it's not about abandoning our responsibilities in this world,
Right.
but
rather integrating our spiritual aspirations into our daily lives.
Okay.
It's about finding that sweet spot where our worldly actions become a form of worship, a way of serving God and benefiting others.
It's a beautiful concept, but it also sounds challenging.
Sure.
How do we ensure that our actions, even mundane ones,
Right.
are aligned with our higher purpose?
Ibn al-Qayyim encourages constant self-reflection.
Okay.
He urges us to ask ourselves, why am I doing this? What is my true intention?
Okay.
Am I seeking God's pleasure or the approval of others?
So it's about checking our motivations,
Yeah,
being honest with ourselves about why we do the things we do.
precisely. And it's not like a one-time exercise.
Right.
It's an ongoing process of introspection and refinement.
Okay.
He even suggests actively seeking knowledge about the nature of sincerity and the qualities that hinder it, like pride, hypocrisy, and ostentation.
It's like we're constantly fine-tuning our internal compass, making sure it's pointing us in the right direction.
That's a great way to put it.
Mm.
And this is where the provision of companionship can be incredibly valuable.
Our travel companions.
Right.
How do they factor into this process of self-reflection and refinement?
Surrounding ourselves with individuals who are genuinely striving for sincerity and spiritual growth can provide immense support.
Okay.
They can offer guidance,
Yeah.
hold us accountable,
Right.
and inspire us to stay on the path.
It's like having trusted travel companions who can point out when we've strayed from the course and help us get back on track.
Ibn al-Qayyim beautifully captures this idea when he writes, "The best of companions are those who remind you of Allah when you forget Him, and who help you to obey Him when you disobey Him."
So it's not just about having companions. It's about choosing companions who elevate us, who challenge us to be our best selves.
Exactly. And speaking of self-improvement,
Right.
Ibn al-Qayyim places a lot of emphasis on the concept of repentance.
Repentance. What role does that play in preparing for the afterlife?
Ibn al-Qayyim considers repentance to be like a key provision for the journey, calling it the key to paradise.
Wow.
And for him, it's not a one-time act,
Right.
but a continuous process.
So it's not just about apologizing for our past mistakes,
Right.
but about actively turning away from them and striving to do better.
Precisely. It's about acknowledging our shortcomings,
Yeah.
seeking forgiveness, and recommitting ourselves to the path of righteousness.
Okay.
It's about course correcting along the way, recognizing when we've strayed, and making the effort to get back on track.
That's a really empowering perspective on repentance.
Yeah.
It's not about dwelling on our failures,
Right.
but about recognizing them as opportunities for growth and transformation.
Exactly. And I think this concept is particularly relevant in today's world,
Mm-hmm.
where we're often afraid to admit our mistakes and imperfections.
Right.
We strive for perfection and see anything less as a failure.
Yeah.
But Ibn al-Qayyim reminds us that it's through our imperfections, our stumbles, and our sincere efforts to get back up that we truly grow and evolve.
It's like he's giving us permission to be human, to acknowledge that we're all works in progress, constantly striving and refining ourselves.
He beautifully articulates that when he says, "The heart is the king and the limbs are its soldiers. If the king is righteous, his soldiers will be righteous. And if the king is corrupt, his soldiers will be corrupt." He's highlighting the importance of inner transformation as the foundation for outer actions.
So it's not just about doing good deeds. It's about cultivating a good heart, or that's aligned with our higher purpose.
Precisely. And he provides a really interesting analogy
Okay.
to illustrate this. He says that focusing solely on outward rituals without addressing the state of the heart
Right.
is like polishing a rusty sword.
Yep.
It might look shiny, but it won't be effective in battle.
Okay. That paints a very vivid picture.
Yeah.
So how do we practically cultivate this inner righteousness? How do we polish our hearts, so to speak?
Ibn al-Qayyim offers several suggestions. He emphasizes the importance of seeking knowledge about the divine, reflecting on God's attributes, and contemplating the nature of the afterlife. He believes that this kind of contemplation, it can soften the heart and purify it from negative qualities.
It's like we're immersing ourselves in the divine, allowing it to wash away the impurities that cling to our hearts.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And he also stresses the importance of choosing our companions wisely,
Right.
surrounding ourselves with individuals who inspire us to grow and evolve.
Ah, yes, our travel companions again.
Right.
It seems like they play a vital role in our spiritual development.
They absolutely do. Their influence can either propel us forward or hold us back.
Wow.
Ibn al-Qayyim even cautions against keeping company with those who are attached to worldly possessions and neglectful of their spiritual duties.
So it's not just about avoiding bad company. It's about actively seeking out good company, those who reflect the qualities we aspire to embody.
And remember, this journey isn't a sprint.
Right.
It's a marathon.
Hmm.
Ibn al-Qayyim emphasizes the importance of patience and perseverance in our pursuit of spiritual growth.
It's about consistently tending to our inner garden, nurturing the seeds of virtue and weeding out the weeds of negativity.
That's a beautiful analogy. And he reminds us that this inner work isn't just for our benefit in the afterlife.
Right.
It has a profound impact on our lives here and now.
Okay.
He criticizes those who hoard wealth for the afterlife while neglecting their spiritual growth in the present, saying they're like someone who packs his provisions for a journey but forgets to eat from them during the journey, so he dies of hunger before reaching his destination.
That's such a powerful image.
Yeah.
What's the point of preparing for a future we might not reach if we're not nourishing ourselves in the present?
Precisely. Ibn al-Qayyim is reminding us that the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
This ties back beautifully to the journey metaphor.
Yes.
It's not just about reaching the afterlife.
Right.
It's about how we travel through this life
Mm.
and who we become along the way.
Exactly. He's encouraging us to approach life with a sense of mindfulness,
Okay.
recognizing that every moment is an opportunity to cultivate the qualities that will benefit us both in this world and the next.
This concept of mindful living feels particularly relevant in today's world, where we're constantly bombarded with distractions and instant gratification.
It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of immediate pleasure
Right.
and lose sight of the bigger picture.
But Ibn al-Qayyim is reminding us that true fulfillment comes
From aligning our actions with our values, seeking knowledge that nourishes the soul, and cultivating inner peace and contentment.
These are the provisions that will sustain us, not just in the afterlife, but throughout our journey in this life as well.
Exactly. And it's a journey we're all undertaking together.
This has been such an enlightening conversation so far.
Yeah.
We've unpacked so much from Ibn al-Qayyim's teachings on provisions for the hereafter, but there's still so much more to explore. Let's delve deeper into how these concepts can guide us toward a more meaningful and fulfilling life in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
So welcome back to our deep dive into Ibn al-Qayyim's Zad al-Ma'ad.
Okay.
One thing that's really stuck with me is how Ibn al-Qayyim emphasizes giving. He even shares this parable about a man who dies and is asked,
Yeah.
"What have you brought for this journey?"
Oh, I remember that one. It's a powerful story.
It is. The man proudly says that he's brought a lot of wealth,
Right.
many houses, beautiful clothes,
Yes.
but he's told, none of that will benefit you here. The only provision you have brought is that which you spent for the sake of God.
It really makes you think.
It's a real wake-up call.
Yeah.
It makes you question what you're truly investing in,
Absolutely.
what kind of legacy you're building.
That's the brilliance of Ibn al-Qayyim's storytelling.
Yeah.
He uses these simple parables to
Yeah.
drive home profound truths about life and the afterlife.
Right.
And in this case, he's highlighting that material possessions hold little value in the grand scheme of things. What truly matters is what we give,
Right.
what we contribute to the well-being of others.
So it's not about hoarding wealth or accumulating possessions, but about using what we have to make a positive impact on the world around us. It's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity
Yeah.
to a mindset of abundance, recognizing that true wealth lies in our ability to give.
And that giving doesn't have to be limited to material wealth.
Right.
It can be our time, our energy, our knowledge, our compassion.
Yeah.
Any resource we can use to uplift others and contribute to something larger than ourselves.
It's like we're all interconnected on this journey,
Absolutely.
and our actions have a ripple effect. It makes me think about those times when someone's simple act of kindness has brightened my day or inspired me to be better.
Right.
It's a reminder that even small gestures can have a profound impact.
I agree completely. And in a world that often emphasizes individual achievement and material gain,
Yeah,
Ibn al-Qayyim's focus on giving feels so refreshing and relevant.
it does.
He's reminding us that true fulfillment comes not from what we acquire,
Yeah.
but from what we share, what we contribute to the collective good.
It's like we're all part of this grand caravan,
Yeah.
and we're meant to support and uplift each other along the way. And speaking of caravans, Ibn al-Qayyim's journey metaphor offers another fascinating insight into this concept of giving.
Okay.
He compares those who hoard wealth for the afterlife while neglecting their spiritual growth in the present
Right.
to someone who packs his provisions for a journey but forgets to eat from them during the journey, so he dies of hunger before reaching his destination.
What a striking image.
It is. It highlights the folly of delaying our spiritual nourishment, of sacrificing the richness of the present moment for some imagined future reward.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
Yes.
Makes me think about those times when I've put off pursuing something I'm passionate about or connecting with loved ones because I've been so focused on some future goal.
Right.
It's a reminder to savor the present moment,
Mm-hmm.
to invest in experiences that nourish my soul,
Yeah.
and to share those experiences with those I care about.
Right. Absolutely. And Ibn al-Qayyim's teachings encourage us to approach every moment as an opportunity for growth,
Mhm.
for connection, for giving.
Yeah.
They remind us that the provisions we pack for this journey aren't just about what we accumulate, but about who we become along the way.
That's such a beautiful and empowering message.
Is.
It's not about reaching some idealized state of perfection,
Mm-hmm.
but about embracing the journey of self-discovery and transformation.
Right.
It's about constantly striving to be the best versions of ourselves, knowing that our growth benefits not just ourselves, but the entire caravan.
Beautifully said. As we wrap up our deep dive into Ibn al-Qayyim's Zadul Ma'ad, I think it's important to remember that his teachings aren't just for those who believe in a literal afterlife.
Right.
His insights into the importance of knowledge,
Yeah.
action, spiritual purification, companionship, and giving,
Mm.
they offer timeless wisdom that can enrich anyone's life.
I completely agree. Ibn al-Qayyim's work offers a profound framework for navigating the complexities of life, for finding meaning and purpose in our everyday actions, and for cultivating a spirit of generosity and compassion that extends beyond ourselves.
It's been such a pleasure exploring these concepts with you. I hope our listeners have found this deep dive into Ibn al-Qayyim's teachings as enriching and insightful as we have.
And to our listeners,
Yes.
we leave you with this question posed by Ibn al-Qayyim himself. What are you packing for the journey?